You are listening to the Why Smart Women podcast, the podcast that helps smart women work out why we repeatedly make the wrong decisions and how to make better ones. From relationships, career choices, finances, to faux fur jackets and kale smoothies. Every moment of every day, we're making decisions. Let's make them good ones. I'm your host, Annie McCubbin, and as a woman of a certain age, I've made my own share of really bad decisions. Not my husband, I don't mean him, though I did go through some shockers to find him. And I wish this podcast had been around to save me from myself. This podcast will give you insights into the working of your own brain, which will blow your mind. I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which I'm recording, and you are listening on this day. Always was, always will be, Aboriginal land. Well, hello, smart women, and welcome back to the Why Smart Women podcast. Today, I am podcasting from Sydney, New South Wales, Australia. It is a beautiful day to have a swim. Unfortunately, us Sydney-siders have been completely spooked by the fatal shark attacks, so we're all a bit leery about going in the water, and I think it's going to make people even more nervous about travelling to Australia now that on top of the poisonous snakes and spiders, they can now be terrified of the sharks. But anyway, today, I completely digress then, but today I am talking to my very good and erudite friend Susan Gerbic, who is a major debunker of mediums and psychics. Hello, Susan.
Hi there. It's so great to be here. Thank you so much for letting me come on your show again.
Oh, my pleasure. Where are you again? I get confused about where my American friends are.
I'm in Salinas, California, which is very close to the ocean in the middle of California.
Do you have shark problems?
I rarely leave my house, but we have a lot of whales. There's a lot of whale watching. Yeah. I don't know about sharks. I'm sure they're there. I'm not going to go check.
Oh yeah, don't go for a swim and just see if you can find one. I think that's wise. So just prior to us getting on the call, you messaged me and said that you're inhaling a pizza, which I admire as an activity. And you said that you'd heard a funny story while you were inhaling the pizza. And what was that story, Susan?
Okay, so this is really a good one. This is great because we're going to talk about psychics, right? So I had done a video back in December of last year, 2025, about a little boy who was missing, who had been abducted at the age of 17 days. Somebody came to the house, knocked on the door, put his mom and him in a car, drove off to go to a place, and the mother, the person, it was a woman who was driving the car, and she said to the mother in the back seat with the child, "Hey, we got to pick up this other mom. Will you go up to the door and knock on the door and tell the woman to come with us, and we'll go." So
hang on, back the truck up. So the woman in the house with the baby, did she know the woman that came to the house? Why did she get in the car?
Well, because okay, let me start over again. Let me see. So a woman named Sheila was going from house to house and apartment to apartment in a military complex. And she was saying that she was a person who worked for an organization called HELP. And what they did is they would give you diapers and baby food and stuff like that. And so she went around and she was profiling people who had brand new babies. So this young military mother,
probably lonely,
she had a brand new baby and they didn't have a lot of money. And I guess it was like day 2 after meeting this woman, she said, "I will go with you to fill out the application." So they got in the car.
Got in the car.
Okay. So they're driving away. The mother says, "I'll go and knock on the door and tell this other mother who didn't exist to come, and we'll go together to fill out the application." So as the woman left the car to go knock on the door, the woman who abducted the baby took off.
So the woman that had come to the door under false pretenses sent the mother of the baby knocking on a door. And then while the mother was knocking on the door, she drove off with the 17-day-old or month-old?
The
How old?
17-day-old baby.
Oh, my Lord.
All right. So that was
God, it's killing
45
me.
years ago. 45 years ago.
45 years ago?
Right. There was a huge manhunt. Okay. So I did a video back in December saying, hey, why can't we find this child? I mean, if he is, we know he's a 17-year-old child. You know, he had been abducted. We know how old he is.
So he'd be 45 now.
Yeah, and they've done age progression on him. So there are photos of what they think he would look like. So if psychics were real, shouldn't they be able to help find this baby?
Correct.
Right.
This man,
yeah, 45-year-old.
So they never found the baby, that nothing ever happened, and the woman just obviously maybe kept him, or we don't know what she did.
We do not know. So I made this video and I said, hey,
psychics
out there, you know, maybe you could help out. So anyway, while I was eating the pizza right before coming on this, a man named Joshua reached out to me on my Facebook Messenger.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I'm Kevin. And I said, really? And he said,
he was the baby. He was the baby grown up.
Wait.
Yeah.
He's telling me that the psychic predicted and told him that he was the kidnapped baby. And I said, a psychic told you that? He said, yes. A psychic told me that I was the baby and that now we're waiting to confirm it. And I said, can I see the video of the psychic telling you? So he sends me a video, seriously, of a tarot reader who's talking about a kidnapped baby. And she's talking about, I mean, she's going on and on, no names mentioned, but she's going on and on about how an uncle was involved and there might have been some other abuse and there might have been a lot of general stuff.
No
names mentioned. And she's just making a tarot reading on YouTube she's just like talking to whomever. She's not speaking to an actual sitter.
Yeah, so she's just talking in general terms, right?
Right, yeah. Right. So this guy listening to the reading, he says that's how he knew he was the one who was abducted.
Huh?
And I said, well, it wasn't your reading. She was just talking. She's rambling. And he says, yeah, but I think I'm Kevin because she told me. And I said, she didn't tell you. She was telling everybody. And in the comments of the video, there are 2 other people claiming that they were also kidnapped. And this message the tarot reader is giving relates to them.
So are they all relating? So she's giving, so the tarot reader's just bullshitting on with generic stuff. Mm-hmm. And 3 separate people who must have heard about this very specific case of the 17-day-old baby, correct? They must have known about it. No,
because the tarot reader's not giving anything that has to do with this Kevin abduction.
So how did they know? Hang on. So why would they relate it? Why would they relate this? Oh, he's just relating it to a generic kidnapping, not the 17. Oh my God. Right.
And then he found my video.
Got it.
About the 17-year-old.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm not exactly sure I'm following him either, but these three different people all listened to this one tarot reader and all got a different kidnapping out of it. They said, that was me. I had been kidnapped. And then the other one saying, that must be me. I think I was also kidnapped because there's no pictures of me before I'm age 6. And then this guy says, I think it's me.
Because I am, oh, wow. You have to wonder if they all just really had miserable childhoods and they just wish they were somebody else, right?
Well, it's interesting how he was trying to tell me that the tarot reader told him this. The psychic told him that he had been kidnapped and he was Kevin. But whenever I actually asked for the video and then I watched it and I said, she's never said a name. There's no name here. And she's not even speaking directly to you. She's just rambling along about somebody being kidnapped as a baby. And you and 2 other people thought it applied to them. And he said, well, it could be the CIA.
Look, that was my second point. It could be the CIA. It could be the lizard people. I mean, there's just so many options here for what could have caused it. Isn't that I wonder what is the psychological underpinning of somebody looking at something generic and then feeling like it applies absolutely clearly to them?
I don't know, maybe some sort of pareidolia or something, because ego, I don't know. I don't really know, but I thought it was, when you find most of the psychic stories I hear are like this, where people are saying that the psychic told them this something specific. But when you look at it and you really listen to it, you find out that the psychic did nothing specific. They're interpreting it to be specific to their case. And this is what's happening with most psychic readings.
So it really is motivated reasoning, isn't it?
There you go.
It sounds like I have reasoned my way to this conclusion, but actually what's happened is it's backfilled. This is the conclusion I want, and the conclusion that I would like to reach is this is about me. So I'm going to do some very, very convoluted reasoning to arrive at that. And I'm going to use some confirmation bias, and anything that doesn't fit the narrative, I'm just going to discard.
Probably
all unconscious.
Right. I don't even think the tarot reader said if it was a male or a female. And
doesn't matter, Susan. You're getting way too specific.
Well, okay. Well, anyway, I thought that was really kind of pertinent to our conversation we're going to have, because what's going on with most sitters is motivated.
Just unpack sitters for me, just for people that didn't hear your the first interview I did with you.
All right. A sitter is somebody who is getting a reading from a, psychic tarot reader or a medium or whatever. They don't have to be sitting.
They're just called a sitter.
They're called a sitter. So somebody who's the target, the person who's getting the reading, is called a sitter. And so people are motivated when you're the sitter. You are motivated to get a good reading. You're motivated to find meaning in whatever obscure things the psychic is saying. I call it the motivated sitter effect, which could be motivated reasoning. And so you therefore want a reading so badly that you're going to
hear what you want to hear.
Right. You interpret the words that the psychic is saying to apply to you. So therefore you get a good reading and you hear what you want to hear. And that is typical of almost all psychic readings.
And then what happens is, the psychic may land upon something accurate and salient, and then I'll grab onto that, and everything else the psychic says may be incorrect, but it doesn't matter because I discard those things and only focus on the one thing that I believe applies to me or that I want. So if I'm turning up and you're the psychic and I'm the sitter, and what I really, really want to hear is that I'm going to meet the man of my dreams and have wealth and trips to Mallorca in my future, which actually does sound quite good. So if you could gift me that, I'd quite like to go to Mallorca. So, and then you tell me whatever, and then I just interpret that because I really want it. I am motivated to hear what I want to hear. And I've probably given you hints when I've walked into the room, right, which you've picked up on.
Could be. Or it could be something as simple as I'm getting the month of June, or it could be the number 6, or it could be 2006 or something of that sort. Does 6 have anything?
Yeah, six. Yes, I was 6 years old when I was adopted.
There you go. So then
I'm probably Kevin.
You're adopted. You're Kevin.
I think I am Kevin. I've often felt in my heart of hearts that I'm a 45-year-old male. So
it could be just that simple. And they do that all the time. The psychics will say, I'm getting a birthday, or your person's saying happy birthday to you. Whose birthday is it?
And then I go, oh,
thinks about it. The
and
medium
then finds something. Yeah.
Whose birthday is it? Not, it is your birthday. He's saying, whose birthday. In other words, but you don't remember it that way. You remember it. You remember later, you say, the psychic even knew it was my birthday.
Or my husband's birthday, or my child's birthday, whoever happens to be, or my Uncle Harry's birthday, or Kevin's birthday. I think I think it's Kevin. Besides being Kevin, I think it's also Kevin's birthday. So you've had you tell me you did something very recent and you were going to come back and talk to me about it, a sting.
Right.
What was it?
So if people want to listen to our previous episode, which was, I think, what month was that?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, okay. There's an episode somewhere.
I'll put it in the show notes. Harry will put that in the show notes. When was Susan's previous episode? Go on.
Okay. So if you want to listen to that, you guys, we left it on a cliffhanger because I hadn't actually finished up with the sting that I was doing. And I said, I'll do it whenever I'll update you guys when I come back, when the sting's over. So I have done 2 stings. One was in August of 2025, and that was called Operation Banana Cream Pie.
Oh, that's right.
I think that's the one that I left you on. And then after that, I did another one called Operation Gobble Gotcha. And that was a different psychic. So let me update what happened with Operation Banana Cream Pie. So people might want to check out that episode. What I did is so there's 2 different phrases that you need to know. One is cold reading. One is hot reading. So most psychics cold read. That means they make an assumption about a person based on what they look like, what they sound like, what is in the background of their image. If you're looking on a Zoom screen, they make general assumptions about a person. They sum up what age they think they are. I mean, I would assume you're from Australia. And people listening to me might assume I'm from America, maybe even be able to narrow in that it's California. So,
and I might look at the bookcase behind you and decide that you're quite widely read and have a sort of a sciencey bent. And maybe is that a blanket in the corner? Have you got a cat?
Yes, I do have cats.
See?
Oh my gosh, Annie, you're brilliant.
I know. I could so be a psychic. I could have made a fortune.
Let me tell you, we know now. Okay, well, what happened with Operation Banana Cream Pie? Yes, is there was a psychic. Her name is Suzanne Wilson. Nobody's ever heard of her, but I discovered that she's hot reading, which means she has information about a person before she gives the reading. She
looks at their Facebook or whatever. How does she do it?
Yeah, it could be Facebook. It could be many ways. Or you could have had a reading with the person previously, or your friend has had a reading and they recommended the psychic to you and then said, you got to talk to my sister-in-law. She's having all kinds of trouble with her husband. She thinks she's cheating. That's a form of hot reading. Because
so I'm preloaded with some information about them by some method. Reading. And it's a hot reading.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that is very rare. Most psychics do not hot read. Most psychics cold read. It's easier. It's simple. It's fast. Hot reading means you can get caught. And so I'm an expert on hot reading.
You can get more easily caught, outed, debunked.
Yes. Because they've looked at something specific. Whereas cold reading is just kind of
general.
It's woolly, it's kind of out there, and it could be anything, right? It could be, just
like I've noticed that you've got a cat. So I might say to you, I'm just getting a really strong sense about the cat. You might need to take the cat to the vet and just have a general checkup. Yeah, and that would be cold reading. Huh?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Or
shush, Yo-Yo. Sorry. Yo-Yo, what's wrong? Oh, God, she was a pain yesterday. Go on, sorry.
It's fine. I think she made the show, actually, yesterday.
Yeah. Go on.
We love our pet. So, yes, exactly. So cold reading is normal. So when I found out this woman named Suzanne Wilson was hot reading, and she was hot reading in a grief group that operates on Facebook. Grief. A
Oh
grief
God, I thought you said, oh, do you mean grief like sadness? I thought you said Greek. I was like, okay. So they've sort of gone culturally specific. Okay. A grief group. Awful, awful,
grief
awful,
group.
horrible.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a group of well-meaning people who are parents whose children have died, and
Ugh.
they think that you can communicate with the dead. And so they bring in psychics I think every week to give readings to the members of the group. And this Suzanne person is somebody they've brought in a few
Oh, that's
times.
so horrible.
Right. So
Oh,
they put up a couple videos of Suzanne, and I got a hold of the video. It's public, anybody could look at it. And I could see clearly that the name of the mother on the screen of the Zoom screen, you know how your name is written on the Zoom screen, with a couple minutes of searching on the internet, I found the mother's Facebook page and the obituary for her daughter. Very simple. The name was kind of unusual, so it really wasn't like a difficult to look the person up. So the things that she was telling the mother
okay. So
were
I'm just going to really clarify for the listeners because
okay.
we're used to thinking in these terms. So what's happened is there's a group of women, no, always women, isn't it? Mainly women in this.
It's both men
Parents.
and women.
Parents who have lost children and who are sitting in this terrible, probably protracted grief. And every week they meet and they invite a psychic along to communicate with their dead children, which is just so awful. And what's happened is this woman has turned up, and then Susan Gerbic, who I'm talking to, has looked up the woman's name that's probably hosting it, because hosting the Zoom, and she has gone to her Facebook and found her and the obituary for her daughter. So which means she has gleaned that the woman, the psychic, is doing a hot reading. Keep going. Just I'd reframe.
Yes, that's
Okay,
exactly
good.
right. So
Yep.
anyway, so once I found out that this woman was hot reading, and it was obvious, and the videos are on my YouTube channel, Psychics Explained. You can see these videos for yourself of her hot reading and why I think she's hot reading. It's obvious to me, but so I said, I'm going to target this woman for a psychic sting, which means I'm going to plant bait on a Facebook page and then get a reading from this specific psychic, Suzanne, and then see if she reads the fake information that I have put on a Facebook page.
Oh, awesome.
That's
awesome.
the sting.
So how did you do it? What did you do?
Okay. Well, I have a Facebook page. I have many Facebook pages that are not connected to the specific Facebook page. They have different names. They look very real. They have been around for years. They have fake backstories. We have conversations. They're real looking Facebook pages. I've used them multiple times, and I just change out the scenario and the names.
So you use this page and you create a fake persona with a fake history.
Yes. So
okay, got it. Yeah.
Okay. So I've been doing this for months because once I figured out I was going to target Suzanne, then I used this page. Her name is Joanne. That's the name of the
fake page.
Fake page. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I went through and I just created a scenario that would be bait for a medium to want to look through and repeat back to the sitter.
Got it.
Yep. Got it so far. So I escalated this by buying out a reading. So this specific psychic, Suzanne, does not do one-on-one readings. Lots of psychics don't do that. It's more financially advantageous to them to do a reading to multiple people, and they can make a lot more money from it. Instead of talking to somebody for an hour, they can talk to 6 people for 15 minutes each, and they're still paying a lot of money that way. So
hang on. So they would, how does that work? They get a group. How do they get the group together? How do they do it?
She advertises, she does these small group readings of 6 people. This is kind of her thing. And so you pay $250 and you go in and you do a group reading, and it's 2 hours long, but most people are only getting a reading about 15 minutes long. And the rest of the time you're just sitting and listening to other people's readings, and you're, commiserating and laughing and
Okay, so
trying.
let's say you're on
It's on Zoom.
a group Zoom call,
Mhm.
a group Zoom call, 6 people, all with potentially horrible histories.
Could
Something
be.
horrible's happened to them, probably.
Or
And
they're
then
just lonely.
they're lonely. And so she sits there and then, okay. And then, so you've approached this Susan bad woman. And what happened?
So what I decided to do is buy out the reading. So I bought all 6 tickets. Joanne did.
Hang on. Can she see that you did that?
I approached her first and I said, hey, I'd like to get a group reading for my entire family. And she said, well, contact my office manager, Diane. Here's the phone number and arrange
Oh my
it.
God.
So I did. I contacted the office manager. I paid 1,400 American dollars, which is probably 9 million in Australian. I wouldn't really know. So
Yeah.
I paid, I arranged, I said, my siblings want to get together and have a reading together. And so we paid this money over time. But because the psychic doesn't do credit cards, I had to,
What?
they don't. They use PayPal or Venmo because it's a cash app, because possibly they're not reporting this as income.
Well, they're not paying tax, right?
Probably not.
The IRS won't like that.
No, I don't think so. I wish somebody'd look into it. So I had, and I can't pay for it using a Susan Gerbic account because I'm known.
Yeah.
So I had to get gift cards, Visa gift cards. So
Funny, Susan.
So I had to call up the office manager. I've
Yeah.
done this a bunch of times, so this isn't my first rodeo. So I had to get a Visa gift card, and I had to call the office manager, and I had conversations with her, learning more about, Suzanne and the office manager and so on. And I had to give her the Visa gift card and have her put it through the PayPal. I found out while I was doing this, because it took me several months, because you get the reading, you put down your deposit, and then the psychic isn't available for like 3 months.
Why?
So she's busy. So
busy ripping off other people, right? It's time consuming ripping people off. Go on.
So I had to call her up, and I gave her the first Visa gift card, and I said, it's a gift card because my sister sent it to me because she's paying for this part of the reading, right? And so the office manager said, apparently that was an unusual thing, which I thought was odd that it would be unusual. And I also thought getting a reading and buying the whole thing out would be normal. I thought that was like a thing, you
want your family and friends.
Yeah, like you're having a party and you say, let's bring a tarot reader or something. Yeah, I thought that's normal. Well, apparently that's not common for this psychic. So she was already getting a little suspicious, because I was doing things differently. I was using gift cards. I was buying the entire reading. I didn't balk at the price. I was like, okay, $1,400. Okay. No big deal. I didn't ask for a discount or anything, so it was normal for me to think that this
but not for her.
Not for her, but when you see her presence online, she seems like she's very, very big deal, but she's actually very, very low. She thinks
in the psychic hierarchy.
Yeah, she's not anything. So what happened is, Annie, I have to have this Facebook page for 3 months, carry on conversations with myself, fictitious things happening for 3 months.
Like what? What happened to the fake person that you created?
Well, like a bad day at work, and I went to the movies, and I saw Barbie, and and just different things, and so but you don't want the post too often, because then the bait you're leaving is going to be farther and farther down in the history. And you want to have it kind of close to the top, but not too close to the top. It's hard to do this.
So, I am in admiration of your persistence and application to the debunking. It's very good. Do go on.
All right. So the psychic insists on not knowing who the people are she's reading.
Of course. Of
So
course.
so the psychic only knows my name is Joanne, and that the other people who are getting readings, their first names. That's all she knows.
Of course.
The office manager knows my full name because and
Yes,
my
and they
phone
never
number.
talk. They never talk, the office manager
Well,
and the
see,
psychic.
that was a test. I didn't know if she would leak my information to the psychic or not.
Mm.
So I arranged for 6 sitters, not myself, but 6 people who are in the skeptic community to be the sitters. They all look
Is Lara Benham involved in this one?
not
The
in
next.
this one because Laura is Australian and I needed us to be all the same kind of type, like American women of about 60 or 70 years old.
Oh,
So
because she's doing
and
acting classes with me at the moment, so quite soon she'll be able to do a really, really good American accent. Go on.
well, okay, well then there.
Yeah.
So I wanted everybody to look a certain way, so that they look like they were siblings. And I think there
Oh,
was 2
wow.
sister-in-laws. So I had 2 women who were sister-in-laws, and I had 3 sisters, and then I had Kenny Biddle from the Center
Yep.
for Inquiry. I had him as the brother. And I gave him a backstory about how he was home from work because he had dropped something on his foot and he had to have surgery and he was still home. That's why he was able to do the reading. That's the only reason why he was there is because he was
So
bored.
you gave him a workplace injury.
Yeah, but he didn't know what he didn't know. Oh, I also gave him a daughter. So that was another thing. One of the women I used in the sting was about 30 years old. So what I did is I had to have him practice, and so I brought all my team onto a Zoom and I introduced them to each other and I said, "This is your daughter." And then they were just joking with everybody. They had a joke. They had to play around and get comfortable. This is your sister, this is your other sister, here's your brother Jimmy, but he
Oh
hates
my
being
God,
called Jimmy. He
Susan,
wants to be called
hilarious.
James.
Yeah.
So we practiced. And then I had to have somebody play me, Joanne, because of course I can't be there. So I had to rig a separate area of my house with a laptop and all that kind of stuff so that she could be Joanne, she could be me. And then
Okay, because you're joining from different places. Do you know what
yes,
this is like? It is because I'm an actor by trade. This is very much like rehearsing for a play.
except it's improv. I
That's
don't
okay.
give them, yeah, it's completely improv. They only know very basic things. They know that that's their sister, this is their sister-in-law, this is their niece. They don't know the bait. They knew a couple things, like very basic things. So what I needed to do is I was in using technology, I was able to watch what was happening live. So I made a Facebook Messenger group of the 6 of them and myself.
Got it.
And as the psychic was saying things, I would write in the chat
Say
what
this.
I wanted them to answer. So
Oh,
if the psychic had told the group, I'm getting a, I don't know, is this a dog? I'm not sure it's a dog. I would have been able to write the name of the dog or whatever. I would have been able to say,
yeah,
yes, that's your dog, or
yeah.
no, you don't have a dog, or
So they're
whatever I would
sitting. Are
say.
they sitting with? They've got their computers in front of them, and you could write messages on the side panel. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. Got
yes.
it.
Or they were using like their phones for Facebook Messenger, and then they
Yeah.
were using a laptop or their home computer or whatever.
Okay.
So all 6 of them are practiced and rehearsed. They do not know the bait. This is how you single blind it. They don't know what's going
Single
on.
blinded. Yep. Got
Yeah,
it.
there's no leakage. I'm about the only person who knows the bait. And I had some really good bait. I mean, I made a fake obituary for a sister that had died. I made it, I used newsprint for the local, I figured out what newspaper would been had close to the woman.
Far out,
So I used
Susan.
newsprint. I shrunk it down and I put it, you know how you have Facebook memories?
Yeah, I do.
Where, okay, so like, 'cause I couldn't just put the obituary up on Facebook. I made it, I put it into a memory and I cropped it and I layered it and made it look like it was a real memory from somebody. And then I shared it onto the Facebook page for Joanne so that the psychic could find this fake obituary that doesn't exist that had a lot of bait on it.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of work. There's a lot of stuff that happened. It's all on my Facebook, on my YouTube channel. You can find all the bait I left. If people are interested, they can go look at it. It's all there. I've released that video. All right, so here comes the day. Well, the night before, I said, how is the psychic going to get the information to find on Joanne's Facebook page if she doesn't know Joanne's last name, location, or what she looks like?
Yep.
Right?
Right.
In many talks with the office manager, I realized the office manager is a true believer and is not going to she's not going to leak it.
So hang on, the office manager actually believes that the psychic has psychic powers.
Yes, absolutely. She's in a very vulnerable person. Her husband and her son are dead, and she found this medium, and the medium has just been telling her a bunch of nonsense.
And she works for her.
Yes. So it was a very sad situation, but she was not the type of person who would have leaked the information to the psychic because she really believes.
Yeah.
And so I thought the office manager knows Joanne's last name, but it was a kind of a common last name. So it would have been really still hard to find me without knowing my location or Joanne's, what she even looked like.
America's a big place.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. So how was she going to get to the bait?
Yeah.
I left.
Yeah.
So what I did is a couple days before the reading, Joanne posted, I'm getting a reading from a psychic this week and I'm really excited. It's not somebody I've gone to before. And then the next day, I had one of my friends using a fake account go in and say, who is it? Is it somebody I know? And then I waited a day and I said, oh, it's somebody you probably wouldn't know. Her name is Suzanne Wilson. And I tagged her
You
on
tagged
Facebook.
it.
Because how else
is she going to? Yeah.
There's no way to get her to that Facebook page to find the bait if she doesn't know who she is.
Yeah.
Right. Well, what happens is on the day of the event, all my team shows up. They're all there. They've got their backstories figured out. They've made themselves a little family tree of who's related to who and what way and where they live. But they don't know the bait. They don't know what it is that I put on Joanne's Facebook page, which is, it's pretty easy to find. It's not too hard. The psychic waits until all 6 people are there. And then she says, I responded to a tag last night. I got tagged on Facebook. And when I went to go look, thinking it was spam, I don't know why I should think it's spam. I ended up reading about one of you, somebody named Diane. And now I know Diane has had health issues and I know what the health issue is. It was like a 2-sentence piece of bait I just threw on there. It was
so Diane is the name of the fake dead sister.
No. Diane is just one of the people attending the reading.
Oh,
she's one of the 6.
Okay.
So
okay, go on. Yeah.
I had just thrown that in there, just like, Diane finally got her results back from her medical test. Turns out she's got whatever, diabetes or whatever.
Yeah.
And that was all I said, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the psychic reads that and comes back to the reading with the 6 and says, I'm not giving you your reading because I'm ethical. And there's no way that I can give a reading because I've actually accidentally looked at Joanne's Facebook page.
Oh, no.
And now I know something about one of you. So this is all videoed. I mean, the whole thing's out there. I mean, I've got the whole thing videotaped and everything. So we were shocked because we've never had, no way did I think that was going to happen.
No.
So the psychic has said she's got another psychic somewhere else that she's going to give us. She says, my friend is going to do the reading for you in the future. It's going to be a bunch of months later. And she says she'll do it at a discount and she's going to try to squeeze you guys in. But I'm not going to give you your reading because I have accidentally seen the Facebook page of one of your people. And then she hung up. She refunded my money and boom, that was the end of that. We were just stunned.
So she had pretend ethics.
Yeah, she had pretend ethics. So the woman thought, so I think she was just very spooked because I think that it was so unusual.
Too many aspects.
Yeah, to have tagged her, to have found, it wasn't so odd to find the bait on the Facebook page because that's kind of what they're, it's
Yeah.
common. If you look at somebody's Facebook page, you can kind of tell, if they have an obituary or they went to a
Yeah, yeah,
funeral,
yeah.
their anniversary of their, they talk about their mom and dad and how they've died or they would, it's not hard to find grief on somebody's Facebook page. It's kind of normal, but there might have been a little too much, or I think it was too weird getting the reading for 6 people, which was unusual.
From
And
the one family.
from one family and paying $1,400 with not
Yeah,
caring at all.
she's sniffed you out.
She
She
sniffed something
sniffed you.
wrong, but yet she recommended us to another psychic. The psychic she talked to, her friend, said she would do the reading for us. So I don't think she thought it was a sting. I just think she thought something was weird.
And she didn't know what.
And so she decided to cancel on herself, but she was going to recommend us to another medium to let us deal with them.
And are you going to do it?
No, no, no. It's all
No.
been revealed. No, we decided no way. So that was the end of Operation Banana Cream Pie. But what happened is I just now have released everything on my YouTube channel so people can go and now they can see the hot reading, because I knew she was hot reading, but I couldn't release the video because I didn't want Suzanne to know that somebody was investigating her.
Yeah. So this is going back to that initial grief group where you knew she was hot reading the woman who was who had hosted the Zoom call.
Yeah,
about the dead
there was a
child.
woman on the
Yeah.
her daughter had only been dead 6 months.
Oh
And
God,
so
that's
she was
so
reading right
awful.
off her Facebook page. Yeah, and it was so obvious. The woman in the reading she did, that I found that she was hot reading, her name I think was Laura. And she said, Laura, I'm getting a picture of a young girl wearing a cowboy hat. And Laura said, oh, I just put up a picture of my daughter wearing a cowboy hat right after my other daughter died. And then the psychic's like, oh, no, I don't think that's it. And I looked right there, and there is the picture of this woman wearing this cowboy hat. I think it was like a pink cowboy hat. Something.
Yeah.
It was pretty obvious it was hot reading. She had the woman's last name, the woman she was giving the reading to, her last name. Wait, I won't tell you right now. She says, the psychic tells her, I'm seeing somebody in the kitchen and they're baking and they're baking something. Why am I seeing somebody baking? Something to do with baking and somebody's.
That was her
child is
name,
hungry.
right? Was it Baker?
Well, she finally says, the psychic finally says, because nobody's figuring it out. They're like, well, I was baking cookies and another person, because it's a gallery reading. So there's a bunch of women on the screen, and the psychic's just throwing out a scenario, hoping that the person she really wants to give the reading to says, oh, that's me. So the psychic is throwing out this general stuff, much like what I told you today when I first entered this interview about the woman who said, the tarot reader who said somebody has been kidnapped.
Yeah. General. The more general, you're going to get some
general.
purchase. Right.
So here's these women saying, I don't know, baking, I baked cookies last night. And the psychic finally says, no, it's a box of Reynolds wrap foil. You guys would call it aluminium, I guess, but we call it aluminum. And she says, it's a box of foil, Reynolds wrap. And the woman said, oh, my last name is Reynolds. And so I was able to easily look her up, and her name is Reynolds, and it was like, oh, that's pretty obvious there. And then she also had, it was so obvious it was hot reading, Annie. I couldn't, you can't watch it and not realize it's hot reading. But
if you're schooled, if you're schooled in it and you have constant exposure like you do, it's very obvious to spot the strategies and spot the ruse. But for people that are unfamiliar with it and that are highly, highly motivated, because as we know, we make, decisions in the limbic system and post-rationalize it in the prefrontal cortex. So if your limbic system is just desperate to connect and to be made to feel as if the person is in contact with a dead loved one, then your prefrontal cortex is just going to go, sure, I'm going along for the ride. It's so they don't want the truth because it doesn't serve their need.
Well, she was just absolutely all into it. I mean, the daughter had only died 6 months before.
So awful,
so
Susan.
She was really like crying and going right into it. She had no idea. And so also they're in a community with like-minded people who are also in the same grief group.
Of course.
And so you've got this network of people who all are endorsing the psychic and this idea that psychic ability is real. And they have a nice therapeutic cry, and it feels wonderful to think your daughter is there. It was really disgusting for me to watch. And of course, Anna, you and your listeners would watch it now and say, oh, this is obvious. This is horrible. But if you believe in life after death, if you are conditioned to believe in that, then this is normal. This is fine.
Yeah, that's right. And we do know that I mentioned it yesterday on the when I did the interview for Recovery from Religion, that identity protective cognition, is where you will suspend disbelief and believe whatever because you need to belong to a group. Now, if you're in a group of people that are all grieving and all believing, then to stand aside from that and to express some doubt means that you then are probably going to be excised from the group, because nobody wants to be told it's not real, because it's for that moment it's comforting. But to your point, the last time we talked, is that what these grief vampires do is actually delay the true grieving process, because people aren't given the chance to let go, correct?
Correct. And I heard you saying that again last night on the Recovering from Religion interview that was terrific that you did with Rob and Cara. It was exactly right, because now I'm not a grief counselor. I'm not a scientist. I don't really know, but it seems like it's common sense that if you are in grief and you believe that your loved one is $100 away and an appointment with a reading with a psychic, and you could talk to them and have a conversation with them, and they'll tell you if they like your new hairdo. They'll talk about, like, if you're thinking of dating somebody, they'll say if they like them or not, or they'll tell you, that they don't like the color you painted the kitchen. Just common little things like that. If they think that you could have that kind of conversation with a dead loved one for $100 or whatever, then how are you going to get through that grieving process if you think that they're always located on the other side of a door? You're just not.
Well, you never get you it's so unethical, because you never actually get to the point where you face the terrible truth of what, this terrible truth, because it's always being delayed, and you're buffeted against it by these lies. It's just terrible. It's so terrible. I still have friends that go and talk to psychics, and they always say to me, she was just really amazing and really accurate. And I'm like, she wasn't. She wasn't. Just cherry picking the data, right?
Right. Now, absolutely.
Now, because it's we have to wrap this up. I'm wondering, because you've done another sting. Could you come back and could we talk about that?
Absolutely. I'm free all the time for you, Annie. You just tell me when.
Okay, so if we can, we'll do that the week after next, and then everybody can prepare themselves emotionally to hear about the next sting. It's right. It's like us, the efforts we go to debunk wellness. It's very, very important that we do debunk the notion of psychics and mediums, etc., because, people think it's benign. It's like we were saying yesterday on the Recovery from Religion. People think it's benign to believe in these strange things, or to have a march against, fake mass immigration or whatever we've got going on here. It's nuts. It's not benign. None of it is benign. Wellness is not benign because we are going to delay proper scientific treatment. Lying about mass immigration is not benign because it's extremely hurtful to people who aren't white. And then, saying that you can contact the dead when you can't is not benign. It's very, very dangerous. So I think the fact that we go about our business trying to debunk these people, these principles is really, really important. And I love the work you do, Susan, because you're so organized and obviously so technically adept. I mean, making fake, newspaper articles and then shrinking it down is like awesome.
That was pretty clever of me. I'm really sad that it didn't work, but
yeah, it's really,
I was pretty impressed. I thought of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Annie, of course I'll come back. And if people want to check out my channel, Psychics Explained, it's on YouTube and all the details are there and they can watch the videos and see what I'm talking about. And then I'll be happy to come on and talk about Operation Gobble
That
Gotcha.
would be awesome. And I think now that we have discovered that I am Kevin, it's just given me,
and you're 45.
A new lease on life. I'm male, but I'm younger. So that's really, really good. And
abducted from a place in California, so that means you're Californian.
And I'll be able to really, really study the accent and say I'm from California. Yeah. So if you ever want someone to actually come on and be an American, I can do it.
Well, we just need to do a sting in Australia. And,
okay. Or we can do a British sting. I can also do British accents. I can just do accents. So whatever you need. Awesome. I am available. I want to sit in on a sting and I want to study and be a character. I want to do that, Susan. Okay. Please include me. As long as I'm called Kevin, that's all good. All right. So thank you so much, Susan Gerbic. As always, it's a deeply informative and entertaining interview that we have. And so I will talk to you very, very soon. And to all the smart women, thank you so much. And men that do listen to the podcast, wherever you are in the world, stay safe, stay well, keep your critical thinking hats on. See you later. Bye. Thanks for tuning into Why Smart Women with me, Annie McCubbin. I hope today's episode has ignited your curiosity and left you feeling inspired by my anti-motivational style. Join me next time as we continue to unravel the fascinating layers of our brains and develop ways to sort out the fact from the fiction and the over 6,000 thoughts we have in the course of every day. Remember, intelligence isn't enough. You can be as smart as paint, but it's not just about what you know, it's about how you think. And in all this talk of whether or not you can trust your gut, if you ever feel unsafe, whether it's in the street, at work, in a car park, in a bar, or in your own home, please respect that gut feeling. Staying safe needs to be our primary objective. We can build better lives, but we have to stay safe to do that. And don't forget to subscribe, rate and review the podcast and share it with your fellow smart women and allies. Together, we're hopefully reshaping the narrative around women and making better decisions. So until next time, stay sharp, stay savvy, and keep your critical thinking hat shiny. This is Annie McCubbin signing off from Why Smart Women. See you later. This episode was produced by Harrison Hess. It was executive produced and written by me, Annie McCubbin.